What is up, MMA fans? This is Tudor Leonte for Sherdog.com, and today I have the pleasure to talk with UFC welterweight fighter, Mr. Darian Weeks. Hello, Darian. Welcome on Sherdog. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me today on the podcast.
We are actually the ones. I'm actually the one who has to, to thank you for giving me a little bit of your time. I'm noticing that you are in your car. Where are you going, or where are you coming from right now?
Just sitting outside the gym. I knew I had this interview at this time, so I wanted to get this done, and then I'm going to go in here and get some some cardio and some strength conditioning in.
How was your morning session?
It was good. We did sparring this morning. A lot of tough athletes out there. We pushed the pace, and I got a great workout, and I felt beautiful. I had beautiful results from sparring today.
Who have you been sparring with?
A couple different athletes. I go here and there, just training where I can, really trying to find the best partners, athletic wise, whether that be wrestling, whether that be kickboxing, whether that be Muay Thai. So just a lot of different type of fighters.
Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, your opponent seems to be switching between styles, so I believe you're doing a good job in preparing for that. We are talking since you are scheduled to face Ian Garry at UFC 273. May I ask, where have you been doing your camp?
I've been doing my camp in Missouri mostly. I got a gym down there called the Hewlett House.
Okay.
And that's a gym that I've been training at since the middle of my amateur career. That's the same gym that took me over to places like Worlds, where I competed in IMMAF. Took me over to Australia, Bahrain. So it's a strong gym. I got a strong coach in Robert Hewlett and John Moppins. They do a good job with my conditioning, with my training, with seeing things that I need to work on and fixing my openings. And so I feel like, a strong gym there.
How much do you usually like to study footage of your opponents?
I study footage here and there, mostly just to get a general outlook on things that we may need to try and do to put him in an uncomfortable position. But other than that, I mostly focus on myself. If I find that I have a well-rounded game, it'll be harder for somebody to defeat a game that I set up if I know that I'm well-rounded, which would be on the ground, which would be standing up, and which would be in jiu-jitsu. So I'm mostly 80% trying to work on myself, maybe 20% watch film.
Okay, so Garry is an up-and-coming Irish fighter. What do you expect from your opponent at UFC 273?
I expect him to come on strong. He's got a lot of hype behind him, like everyone knows. He's got, the image to uphold. So I expect him to come on strong, come on tough in the first round. I expect him to do kickboxing, but I've seen he's been doing some wrestling as well. So I won't put it out of my mind for him to take shots, or try to do any jiu-jitsu if I take shots. So I expect he'll change his game up a little bit, but our job is to put enough pressure and enough stuff on him to make him kind of go back to where he was, which is mostly a counter puncher, where he walks backwards, where he throws a lot of kicks, where he throws that right hand down the pipe. So we're going to make sure, we put enough stress on his game to send him back to the old Ian Garry.
So you debuted in the UFC in December. You seem to have much fun against Bryan Barberena during that fight. How was it for you walking out for the first time to the Octagon?
It was good. It was like, stepping into what I've always dreamed to be. I always wanted to be at the top of the level of fighting. I always wanted to be in the UFC, which is the highest level that you can get into in mixed martial arts. So it felt kind of like, finally accomplishing one part of my goal. It was a good feeling. It was an energizing feeling. It was a feeling of kind of, like where I was supposed to be, kind of where I was supposed to fit in. So, and even though it was on 4 days notice, there was a lot of stuff going on in that 4 days. They do media stuff, they do doctors. Yeah, doctors all have to check you out. You have to go from here and there and here and there and here and there. And plus I had to do the weight cut. So I didn't really get to experience all of fight week like I wanted to, but it still was an experience that I wouldn't trade for anything.
You just said that you took that fight on a few days notice, 4 days notice. What fans should expect, from full camp Darian, in comparison with the one they saw in December against Barberena?
They should expect a lot more energy out of me. I got time to train well. I got time to put my cardio to the test, got time to put my strength to the test. They should see a lot more control, whether that be on the fence, whether that just be regular octagon control, where I'm walking my opponent down, where, I'm timing him very well. And I've had time to, know who I've been fighting. So, we've trained like, what we're supposed to be training like for the opponent we're supposed to be training like. So I feel like they'll see a way more well-rounded and a way more aggressive fighter.
Eventually, that time you lost a decision to Barberena. What would you change from that clash?
I would definitely. It was fighting a lefty on 4 days notice kind of threw me for a loop. So I would have definitely felt like I should have walked in more. I should have checked a lot of his kicks in that first round. I would also change the ground positioning. I took him down probably 3 or 4 times, but really never held fast on the ground. I was too quick to advance to another position, which allowed him to get up every time. So I would take more advantage of that, more control time on the ground, a bit more aggression in that 3rd round. I thought I was more tired than I was. Once the round was over, I really wasn't as tired as I thought I was. So I definitely would have been a tad bit more aggressive. And I feel like if that would have been the case, I possibly could have got the finish.
So this is a question that I like to ask plenty of fighters. Are you currently dedicating yourself to MMA full time, or do you do something else for a living?
Mostly, yeah, MMA, but I own a barbershop.
Okay.
So I cut hair, but I definitely do own the business. So I'm able to come in and out whenever's comfortable for me. So I get just as much training as the normal athlete that would be 100% involved in UFC. The difference is with my downtime, I earn money instead of, just sit around or looking at the phone. You know what I mean?
How is business doing nowadays?
Business is great. I live in a somewhat smaller town. It's got about 30,000 people in it. So it's not a huge city. So when I got to a level such as this, and even before this, me just competing across the country and across the world, a lot of people flocked to that and they were supportive of that. So I get a lot of business just off of that, just for people being, willing to support me, willing to meet me, like to be in my company. So my business has boomed off of credit to my MMA career going so well.
In addition to training and handling your barbershop business, what do you like to do in your spare time?
I do a couple of different things. If the weather's nice, I like to play basketball. That's a real fun thing to do. Just something that keeps your cardio up. It's a real exciting game. I also like to I play video games here and there. If I'm stuck in the house, I'll play. I'm waiting to play the UFC, so until I'm on it, I just can't play with anybody else but me. But definitely,
that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah, but definitely just a bit of the normal things. Really, yeah, just hang out with my family, hang out with my wife. Just normal things that people do.
So before let's go, how do you fare with fight weeks?
I fare well. I fare well. I feel good, you know, during the fight weeks. I feel together, you know, I won't have to cut as much weight as I did prior. And I feel like, you know, I'm fight ready. I'm ready to get in there for UFC 273. I'm ready to be in a full stadium. You know, we went in Las Vegas last time, so there's limited fans, but this time we get to have all the fans we can handle. So that energizes the fighter a bit. So I will say I'm looking forward to all of that coming to pass. I'm looking forward to, my favorite part is the face off. So I can't wait to stare my opponent in the face. That's when you really get a feel for them. That's when you get to see them flinch a little bit in their eye, and you know that, hey, all right, well, this guy is nervous, and we come to beat that into him.
UFC 273 is headlined by the clash between Alexander Volkanovski and the Korean Zombie. Who is your favorite in this one?
Definitely has to be the champ. The champ he's overcome everybody that's already beaten Korean Zombie, besides Yair Rodriguez, which I would have loved to see that fight instead of this one with Korean Zombie. But I'm going to have to lean towards the champ here. He's got just a real strong will about him. He's not easy to tap out. He's not easy to finish. He's aggressive on the feet. You can't, you know, you haven't seen anybody put him away yet. You haven't even seen anybody really injure him to where he's walking backwards. So, but the Korean Zombie, I will say he's a dominant fighter as well. I mean, that fight between him and Yair Rodriguez was, I mean, incredible, you know, incredible. So you see that, you know, the Korean Zombie has some determination of himself. So right now I'm going to lean towards the champ, but I could see that going either way as well.
And what about the co-main event, Aljamain Sterling or Petr Yan?
Oh, I think everybody knows Petr Yan's walking off with that one. You know, he kind of got saved. Aljamain Sterling kind of got saved that first fight with Petr Yan being, you know, overly, you know, yelled at by his corner and accidentally kneeing him in the head. That gave, you know, Aljamain Sterling 1 year of being the champ. But I don't think we'll see a second. Petr Yan is just too dominant of a fighter, as you've seen against Corey Sandhagen, which, I mean, is probably one of the best strikers in that weight division. I mean, Petr Yan put it on him, you know, and he was very dominant performance, a very aggressive performance. And that shows how much leaps and bounds he is above everybody else in that division. So Aljamain Sterling's a strong athlete. He's a great fighter. He's beat a lot of great fighters, but like I said, Petr Yan is just unbelievable in that weight division.
Have you already picked your walkout song?
Not yet. But then I'm still, you know, debating about a couple of it. I haven't had really time to sit down and think about what I wanted to do. So we'll have to see how I feel on fight week. We'll see what my walkout song.
Do you mind telling us at least the names of the artists you are thinking about?
They're mostly Christian artists. I mostly listen to Christian music. So it'll be something along that lines. I'm trying to think what one there was a thing called Church by Sam something, and then another one called Battle Belongs to You by, I don't remember band names real well. I only really remember the music, but it'll definitely be between one of those or a third.
Darian, I finished my questions. Before I let you go, would you like to add anything else?
Yes. I'd like to shout out SC Fuel, my sponsors. They're in Sedalia, Missouri. They ship all over the world with great meal prep. They're the best. Go to myscfuel.com. I'd like to shout out my team, Iridium, for always putting me in position to take position. I'd like to shout out CG, Salty Sun, located in Columbia, Missouri, one of the best CBD programs out there. Go ahead and give them a follow on Instagram. And then all I got to do is praise be to God. bless everybody who sees this, and let's do it on UFC 273.
Darian, thank you very much for your time today. Best of luck with your upcoming fight, and hopefully I will hear again from you in the future.
Thank you very much for having me on here. It was a pleasure.
The pleasure was all mine, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.